Vacuum fixtures. I've had quite a few people reach out, ask me a lot of questions about vacuum fixtures. And on this episode of the process, we're going to talk about vacuum fixtures. I actually have one in my vertical that I just made today. I got it set up. We're going to go in depth, talk about some previous fixtures I've done and some recommendations. My first recommendation is going to be quit using this neoprene cord that a few vendors will recommend for vacuum fixtures. This stuff is junk. It's what I first started using. Actually, this was the first vacuum fixture I built, and I used this particular job, these parts. I think I had 20 parts. They were about an hour and a half runtime each. I was swapping out this cord every probably 3-4 parts. It was absorbing coolant. By that third, fourth part, there was no vacuum. I could slide the part off of it. No problem. I actually think I might have launched a part, and that's where I figured out I need to swap it out more often. So first recommendation, get rid of this neoprene. And I'm going to recommend using silicone medical tubing. It's got a 125 OD with a 062 ID. This stuff lasts forever. I ran this part about a year later once I started using this stuff, and the same gasket made it through all 20 parts, no problem. There's no shrinkage. It didn't absorb any coolant. It just works. I highly recommend this stuff. It's kind of expensive. I'll throw a link in below, so if you want to find it, you can. So with that being said, I can show you a couple fixtures I've made over the years. This one was a part that had some through features here. I think there must have been some pockets in it, so I had to go around some features that I could vacuum down. I think I had a hole going all the way through that side, all the way through that side. Sometimes I'll do multiple ports just to get vacuum on more than one side of the part if I can't get it from one port. A lot of the parts that I do are low quantity, and I'm not going to see them again. So I'll make a vacuum fixture for every part. Chances are I'll never see them again, like I said, and I just throw these on a shelf. Sometimes they come back and it's like, oh great, I already got one, cool. You know, a lot of times I'll do stuff like this too, where this part was fully pocketed out on op one with some thin features on the bottom side. So this actually located, and all these pockets were cut out so the part could fit on it, locate, and sit down. I think there was another variation of it that came back, so I added another slot here and plugged the hole. Another thing I like to do a lot of times, I don't know if you can see this round parts, I'll put a boss in there for locating feature, which works great. Put the part on, locate it, and not worry about it. A big reason I use vacuum fixtures is most of these parts, if I put them in some sort of vise and I clamp on them, I'm going to crush them. So this is a great way to suck them down, and I'll typically pocket it down and locate the part too. Or like this one here, I pocketed it down and I added a dowel pin that located on a slot. So I dropped the part on and then caulked it up against the dowel pin so it located. Some of these parts, I do the grid pattern, and then you'll see on some of these, there'll be no grid pattern. I'll just do a hole with the gasket around the part. Reason for that is I've noticed sometimes the grid pattern doesn't do much on some parts, and it's a lot more runtime to make it. If you're going to do a grid pattern, especially like this big one here, did a big grid pattern, you can see the part shape, kind of walked around here too, there. This part, I'll typically make it without the grid pattern first, put the part on, see if it holds well, see if the vacuum's got enough suction there to hold the part down. If it doesn't, I might add the grid at that time. This particular part here, the bottom thickness of the plate ended up being like a 32nd, so I needed as much suction as I could to hold that down. This one too, I think I ended up having removable dowel pins around it so I could dowel it, put it on, take the dowels off after it was suctioned down and run all the way around the perimeter, and it located the part. So that being said, the part I am doing today, I can't show a finished part, but it is a Delrin part. There are some features down the middle. So what I did on this one was I did 2 separate vacuum features and 2 ports on it, allowing me to suck it down and get the through holes through this is going to be the second op of this part. In this particular part, it's going to have some big pockets all the way through the part. It's going to end up being pretty thin with some thin walls on the left and right side, and then the one feature in the center. So the vacuum fixture I built for this one, I pocket it down. It'll sit down in there. It'll locate, and it won't distort from clamping if I put it in a vise. Here's a vacuum fixture I just machined. This is for a Delrin part. I got 2 ports here. Reason being, this particular part, it has some features in the middle that will be through. I didn't want to try to get the gasket going around each hole, so I just did 2 separate areas here for the part to suction down on. This is a system I use. So what we have here is we got the air coming in from behind the machine, goes through, and then I got the splitter here to go to the fixture. So this is a simple unit. Once the part is on there, you just push this in. When the part is on there and you push it in, you'll see this indicator go all the way down. And one thing I'll recommend is pay attention to this. If it doesn't go all the way down, if it's not flush, you got something in there. You got a chip, something holding it up, and you're not going to have full vacuum. So make sure that's going down. If not, you can take it apart, clean it. Pretty simple. Another thing I'll recommend, this is the exhaust port here. When you push this in, it is shooting air out. Face this in a direction other than at you. I learned the hard way. I had it set up at one point facing me, and every time I opened the door, there was a small amount of mist blowing at me, and after 2 or 3 times swapping parts, my shirt was soaked. I'm going to get the gasket material on the part over here. We'll get the gasket on, and then we'll make sure the part vacuums down good. Again, throw that neoprene gasket shit away. It's junk. I still highly recommend this stuff again. I got a couple pieces cut here. I've been told by a few people that you should cut these at a 45, so when they butt up in the groove, it seals better. I've never had any issues, just a straight cut and push them together. I typically will put the gasket on the groove, around the groove, and cut it about 1/8 inch to 1/4 inch long, and then kind of push it back and push the 2 pieces together so they seal good. I know some people will super glue them as well. I've never done it. If it works, great. I haven't ever had any issues not doing it. And again, I've never had any issues just doing a straight cut. Just make sure you have a nice, sharp blade to cut it with. I use an X-Acto knife just so you can get a clean cut. I've seen people use scissors and it just doesn't cut straight, and then it doesn't seal very well when the vacuum is turned on. So now we got the gasket in the groove. Edges are butted up nice to each other. I'm gonna grab a part, set it on here, and make sure it vacuums down. Like I said, the center of this is out because there's some holes through here that are going to come through once I cut this whole block away. Another thing I always do is, typically I'm doing parts that I'm not ever going to see again. This is probably going to one-time fixture. I got probably 20 fixtures on a rack that have been used once. So I'll pocket it down just so the part locates on it. Put it in there. It's nice and snug, located well. Turn the vacuum on. Give it a push down, and the indicator went in right there. All right, parts in the machine, it's ready to go. Unfortunately, like I said, I can't show the part when it's done. If for some reason it pulls out and I launch against the wall, you'll probably see it on Instagram. Touch on a few things before I get that running. I've switched over to these fittings from a Mastercar. They got an O-ring, short thread on them. I can hand tighten these in there and not worry about it. I have been using these 90-degree a lot more often. As you can see over there, I was able to get the tubes to run down and they're out of the way. Nothing's going to hit it. Nothing's going to pull it out of the fitting. Not going to lose pressure. Another thing recommend is getting a splitter. You saw how I was using it over there. I've used this for multiple ops. If I got op 1, op 2 in different vices. I've done it with just running, op 1 across multiple vices. I got a few of these. I think I got a 3-way splitter or a 4-way splitter. Works great in situations like that. Also, again, can't stress this enough. Get rid of this neoprene cord. It's garbage. It doesn't work well. You're going to be swapping it out as soon as it absorbs all your coolant. Silicone tubing works great. With this, I run a 3mm end mill with 100 thou depth on this. I've never had any issues with it. Never had to raise it, lower it, take a wider cut, finish pass or anything. With this neoprene, I've had to do that. I've had to, drop my pocket down. Just, sometimes I've gotten this where it's the diameter is smaller, bigger. I've had to change it every time. This stuff is always accurate to what it says. 1/8 inch OD, 16th ID. And I think I bought this 3 years ago for probably $100, $150, 50 feet of it. It lasts forever. If you got any questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, follow, like, and subscribe. We'll see you next time.